Hey guys, it's Sarah from Snacks and Crafts. Today I'm going to be talking about a craft, crocheting, and how I learned how to crochet. And I used to only loom knit, which I don't know if I ever actually posted a video, but I used to only loom knit. And recently, within the last month or so, I learned how to crochet. And first I just started I don't know if this is actually one of my first ones. It may be. First I started with just the granny squares. You can see it's not very even, but I just felt it was the easiest thing to do. So first I started just practicing granny squares, and I just looked them all up on YouTube. I used Simply Daisy. She's really good at tutorials for just the basic crochet stitches, and I followed her granny square thing. Actually, did I do hers? No. I used Simply Daisy for just the single crochet, double crochet, and half double crochet. For the granny square tutorial, I used Bella Coco. She has a how to crochet granny square for beginners. She goes through the whole thing, so she doesn't just stop at the middle. Most folks will just like create a whole square. But that's what I really liked about the video, is that the whole video is her making this size piece. And so that, did a bunch of those. This is with a different yarn, and where it goes blue to like pink. And then I did some color work practice. So you start with silver, then blue, then silver, then blue. And then I got really fancy with this one. Pink, gray, blue, gray, blue. Well, pink mint. Let's see. And then I used this rougher one. This one's really all wonky. To practice those. More granny squares. And then I did just solid straight squares with different stitches. I think this is the double crochet. And you can see it's different from this one. You can tell they're different stitches. There's one back here. Oh, it's over here. I think this one's, I'm trying to decipher which one is single crochet and which one's half double. One of these is single crochets and one of these is half double. I don't know. This one's definitely double crochet because it's like looser. You can see the holes. But that's what I did to practice those stitches, is I learned them and then I did coasters. And then I did a round one, practiced in the round, and it kind of curls up. I think that's just my tension. It's a little bowl. And then because of that, I actually just made a little bowl with the same yarn from this. So it just curls in. And for that, you knit in a circle, and then when you get to how big you want it, then you just keep knitting. Instead of increasing, you just keep going the same size, and then eventually it creates a bowl. And I made some little creatures from this one lady's tutorial. Do I have any of them in my little bucket? All my stuff is like right here. Oh yeah. Made this little creature. And this little creature. And this one's named Peanut because he looks like a peanut, because he's like wonky. These are my little guys. And I just bought eyeballs on Amazon. Yeah, I got these on Amazon. And they come with the little backings, and there's different sizes. You can have just solid black eyeballs, green eyeballs, white eyeballs, when I got into making the little creatures, let me see, who is that crochet creature? That was Allison Hoffman, Crochet Amigurumi Baby Monsters with Crafty is Cool. So I guess Allison Hoffman, Crafty is Cool. And she does the magic ring tutorial, which I still have not figured out. That's really difficult. So it was really difficult for me to do the magic ring to like start the creature on his head and his bottom. I was like, no. But started doing that, and then I was at the Michaels and I saw Edward's Menagerie. You should be able to read it. Like Edward's Menagerie. Anyway, from Carrie Lord. This book is so cool. I've made the bunny rabbit. I made the kitty cat. I'm working on the polar bear. I've got it's the beginning of the body. But when she starts her creatures, it's different. It's not the magic ring. It's different. And so I've used her just standard increase instructions to start any other creature that I'm going to make from now on, because it was way easier for me. And I was getting frustrated with the magic ring thing. And Allison Hoffman on Crafty is Cool, she was saying, like, you gotta get this to be able to do them. I think that's what she said. Anyway, I just couldn't figure it out. But her little creatures are adorable, and she uses felt behind the solid black eyes to kind of make bigger googly looking eyes, and they look cute. I have my laptop over here looking up the video so that I give credit where credit is due. And I've also made, what I'm in the process of making, is a really big shawl. I'm sitting on the floor, that's why. A really big shawl for my cousin. A granny square shawl. And that I used Woolpedia, how to crochet a half granny square shawl. I used their tutorial, and it's super helpful. This is the second one I've made. I still can't remember. So I just go to the video, watch the very beginning of how to get started, and then I keep going. I like it. I made a shawl for myself, and then my cousin liked it, so she wanted me to make her one. So I did. I'm also in the process of making just a really big blanket, granny square blanket, that's just gonna like go out. And I'm using Karen Cakes. This is poached pear, but it just kind of reminds me of an avocado. But there was a bunch of it was 6 balls of yarn, or 6 cakes of yarn on sale at Michael's for like half price, so I bought them. And I was like, I'm gonna make a blanket. And so I started on that, but I've been really throwing my energy into this shawl. Kind of gave up on the polar bear for now. It's just really fiddly. I think it's just the yarn I bought. It's super like soft and slick. Like this yarn's a bit rough. This one, not so much. It's really soft, and you can tell it's kind of got a sheen to it. So it's just really slick to work with. A bit more difficult. But I've really enjoyed crocheting. It's exhilarating. Oh, also, I made these for Mother's Day. It's a rose on one of my little coaster things. Kind of defeats the purpose of it being a coaster, because then this is in the place of what you would put on top of it. But doesn't it just look pretty? That's just pretty. That's pretty much it. I got my crochet hooks at Michael's. Actually, this one I just always seem to have, so I don't know if I just took it from my mom, from the house, but I went out and bought my own. So if you want to start crocheting, I definitely recommend just finding a project. They say to start with like a 4mm hook. They say, it's like just do whatever you want. I started with a 5 because that's just what I had. Pick a yarn, pick a pattern. I recommend starting with a granny square tutorial because even though you're starting with the double crochet, it's looser. You don't have to worry about trying to go inside a stitch, because when you do a granny square, you're going inside these spaces, so you're not trying to get under the stitch, which I found really difficult to do starting out. So it was a lot easier for me to get control and practice holding the yarn, which is another weird thing to get used to. I found it way easier to learn how to do granny square projects and then move on to just crocheting solid, just squares. And I think I lost on one of these square coasters. You can tell it like I started with 15 and then I got to 14 or 13 somehow, or I started with 20 and got less than 20 on the other side. But I just have like baskets, trays of yarn. I've taken over my living room. Like, this is the hook I have for my animals, and this is the hook I use for my shawl. So you can tell they're really different. This one's a 3 to 325, and this one's a, oh wait, no. This is a 325mm, and this one's 5mm. It's really different. I used to use this one for painting. I also recommend getting just tapestry needles for when you're sewing stuff, sewing your ends back in. Because I had some plastic needles, but they just bend and break. Or they bend and it's really hard to get through the stitches. But with the metal needles, they're blunted, so you're not going to stick yourself. You may not draw blood unless you're just really rough. Then it's okay. Here it is. This is plastic. It's a plastic thing, so it's like bent. This came with my loom knitting stuff, which is kind of helpful, but I really like just the metal ones. And that's pretty much it. I just wanted to talk about these projects I've been working on, because I'm not a regular poster, not a dedicated one. I'm sorry. My less than 20 subscribers. I appreciate you, and I'm so sorry. I have no content. No content. And I didn't want to make this about teaching people to crochet, because I'm not a teacher, but I did want to give credit to the people, the other YouTubers that I learned from. So there's that. Thanks for watching, and thank you for enjoying this movie of a video I made. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions about stuff I showed, or if you would like clarification, just comment and I will try to get back to you. Bye!